Good evening, everybody. It's Laura Husband here from Hairdressers Journal International. Thank you so much for joining us this evening after I'm sure most of you have had a crazy busy day in the salon. And today we've got a fantastic session on running a new colour business in 2020 supported by Wella Professionals. And we've got the incredible Gustav Fouche with us, who's salon owner at Gustav Fouche in Westbourne Grove, Notting Hill. And he is going to be sharing his insights and learnings with us from opening a salon and colour business not long before the pandemic started. He's going to share with us how he's keeping his clients engaged, his tips for dealing with back-to-back clients during the festive season. And I know he's already done a super long day in the salon before joining us this evening, and his plans for 2021. So thank you so much for joining us, Gustav.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for everybody that's tuned in. I'm looking forward to sharing the knowledge I've accumulated in the last year with all of you, and hopefully be helpful for any questions you may have.
Definitely. And before we get started, I should add that our session this evening is supported by Wella Professionals. So if you want any more information about the extensive colour portfolio available at Wella Professionals and information on how they can help you and your business during these times, just go to wella.com/professional, which you'll find in the comments on the stream. So Gustav, as I said, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've had back-to-back clients in the salon today, haven't you? So you're looking very fresh.
Listen, there's nothing that a bit of Tom Ford cannot fix. You slap it on and you look amazing.
Exactly. And obviously you've got a great salon in Westbourne Grove in Notting Hill, and obviously you did start it. You opened it not long before the craziness of 2020 started, didn't you?
Yeah, so we opened our doors. Well, firstly, I think with any new business, it never goes quite as planned. So we were meant to open our doors on the 18th of October, which we did, but we had a little bit of delay with our building process. So even though we saw our first clients that day, we probably were only fully functioning probably by about the third week of November. So yeah, lockdown came quite as a surprise.
I can imagine.
Snuck up on us like a thief in the night.
Most definitely. So I guess so. Yes, you'd opened so just over a year ago you opened, and then a few months
later. We just had our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And I know I came to see your salon before the craziness of lockdown started.
Did you come to the opening night?
I think I was at the opening night for it as well. And then I came again. So
yeah, it was a fabulous evening.
Which is fantastic. And it feels like so long ago now, doesn't it?
It was a lifetime ago.
Definitely. What would you say, Gustav, what would you say you've learned since first opening your salon back in November last year, of everything that's been going on since?
I think, for me, the biggest learning curve is that you can never be too well prepared. I think, for anybody that wants to open up their own business ever in the future, hat down to you, because, opening up your own business is a whole different ball game. I would actually, encourage people, if you want to open your business, go ahead, but do realize, that having your name above the door is very different than working in a salon, because, the work just never stops. I know the amount of brain power it consumes all the time is a lot more than I could have ever expected. However, this has also been the most rewarding thing I have ever done. It's a proud moment. I'm sure this is what a parent feels like when they see their child for the first time. But one of the things that I've learned the most is, if you make sure you plan super well, because whatever you planned will be thrown out the window. But, at least if you have your foundation set out, that for me is probably the most important. And make sure that, when you open your own business, that there's enough finances, because, like a lot of business, we've been fortunate that, my partner's in finance. So he's helped me a lot, with the business plan, just putting the groundwork in that. And if we didn't do that, we would have had to shut our doors, sadly so. But we've, touch wood, glad and so grateful, that we did have that in place to help support us through this rather untasteful time.
I like that way of putting it, Gustav. It's a very good way of putting it. Would you do anything differently in hindsight, would you say?
Oh, You know what? I think in hindsight, you probably want to do many things differently. But I think, for me, I know, lockdown was a bit of not the greatest, thing, and, for any business, starting off old, new. But, I think, would I have done something differently? Probably the answer is no. I think, would I've liked to have had open up my salon at a time where there was no COVID? 100% yes. We only worked for 7 months of the year, where I would have liked us to work a full year. But, I think moving into the salon, dealing with builders and designers, those things, now, like, I stand in the salon and I love what we have. The salon, I think the salon looks beautiful. It has touches of all the things I would want it to have. It's got artwork on the walls, especially now with Christmas, you look at it outside, the lights are sparkly. So it warms my heart. But I probably think interior wise and how the salon is used, I think now that I've been in it for a year, I'm slowly starting to figure out how the flow of the salon works, how we can make it better, make the client experience better. Because in the beginning, no matter how organized you are, it's basically putting everything in a blender and go, and then once you deal with what comes out, then you really start saying, oh, this works a little bit better, we should do this. And this is all the teething problems we've had, like any new business. So I definitely think I would have probably preferred to be in the salon even longer before I started making all the big changes which I've had. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned is, and in the beginning, you don't have to spend as much. So open up a space that gives you a beautiful environment, and then add every month something, because my view, changed and keep changing all the time.
That's a great tip there, Gustav. And obviously we spoke at the start about the fact you've been with back-to-back clients all day, and you're doing 6-day weeks in the lead up to the festive season. It's super busy. What kinds of what trends are you noticing from a color, cut and a styling perspective? What are your clients desperate for now that they can finally get you working on their hair again?
I think, one of my clients said to me the other day, what she appreciates most about coming to see me is that I guide them. And you can see my philosophy with color and trend is you should look your most beautiful. So when it comes to styling, we can give you a bob, we can give you long hair, but if that doesn't suit your facial shape, that's one of the things that I really focus on when I do education in the salon, is you need to actually look at your client. So even though there's fantastic trends out there, I think there's two things that I want my clients to look at or look like all the time. They need to look hot and they need to look expensive. If they do those two things, then, the trend, my personal trend, is made. But if we look at, for 2021, you're seeing a lot of 70s hair. So, so a 70s bang is just delicious. We wrote a lovely piece on it in our newsletter on our website. Fringes, I've always been obsessed with them. So now short, long, I love a cheekbone or putting emphasis on the eye area. I think it's sexy, seductive. You can flow it around. It's really lush. And then, you can go long, short, but it's definitely not crazy curly. If your hair is naturally curly, then please do use that. But if you're making it artificial, it's definitely a lot softer, but it's also a lot bigger hair. So 70s hair, dynasty. I always say Jane Fonda and Farrah Fawcett should have been my godmothers. I'm obsessed with them. I love them. I want that hair for myself. But so 70s hair is massive coming back. And then in the salon, for our trends, is clients are desperate to have something a bit different, but not different in the sense of, wacky colors. Like my salon, our clientele doesn't really do, the extreme colors, which I think, like Guy Tang and those people, they do beautifully, but it's not really our clientele. But they do want to push the boat, so clients who've had just a regular tint would now say, oh, let's do a bit of caramel pieces, let's do copper reds. I'm finding that coppers and reds are really coming in. A lot of people are bringing photos in. I don't know what the girl, she's married to one of the Jonas brothers. Wella does a lot of work with her in their big campaigns.
I can't think of the name. Anyone tuning in, do let us know.
She's in Game of Thrones.
Oh
She
yes,
plays.
I can picture her and I can't think of her name.
So, you know, her hair before, that really bright ginger, which I love. You like anything warm, I really like. As you can see, well, my own hair is icy cool, but I do love warm hair on women. I think, you know, it's good on the skin tone. It makes it brighter. It makes it look expensive. So I definitely can see those kind of trends coming in. And Wella has actually just brought out their Color Fresh masks.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's, I've actually used that to my own hair last night, the pearl one, which
I
is
love it. That was the first thing I
really,
said to you was I admired your hair when you first joined the session, Gustav. I absolutely love it. So that's with a Colour Fresh mask.
so this is the Color Fresh mask that I put on. I leave it on, they say 10 minutes. I put it on for 20 and I love it. I think the color looks great. Obviously, we are 100% a Wella salon, a Wella color salon. But also, you know, they've got the copper tones, they've got brunette tones for people who want to refresh a color or just change a bit of highlights. You know, it provides such a fantastic opportunity because it's instant, number one. You can do it at home, number two. And then also, you know, it's not something that's going to last forever because it's a conditioner. It washes out. So it's I love the new Color Fresh mask. I think they are a fantastic addition to the brand.
Oh, brilliant. And have you noticed, Gustav, I know you said your clientele is very much into that kind of luxury look and maybe more natural shades, but have you noticed, are your clients interested in trying a slightly more wacky colour with something like the Wella Colour Fresh masks because they can wash in and wash out?
So we've got, if I look at my clients who are more what I call the creative spectrum, you know, there's a lot of purples. We do, and I find my clients who want to be a little bit more adventurous, as probably my older clientele, you know, late 50s, 60s, they definitely more up for giving it a go. Like the young girls, you know, that could carry it off are normally the ones that just want to have long, straight hair. And nothing wrong with that, you know, if it's beautifully done, it's amazing. But, you know, I've got quite a few that like bobs and they like the peekaboo colors, you know, say like purple pieces in the fringe. There's a lot of rose gold, there's a lot of peach, and there's also a lot of pink. So we've done the rose blaze on gray hair. And I think, you know, a lot of my clients who are gray, they love this because you can put it on, you wash it off, it washes out almost completely. And it just gives them that little bit of extra spunk to their day. So yeah, so definitely my older clients are a lot more adventurous with a little bit more crazy colors. I'm personally not a fan of green in the hair. I think it fades really ugly. You know, it becomes khaki, and I don't think anybody's skin tone, nobody needs that in their life, basically.
No, yes, this is
Tone.
true.
But I think, you know, if it's away from the skin here and you do like unicorn colors, I think it's great. But that's probably the only one that I stay clear of. You know, I love the blues, I love the purples, the oranges, the peaches, all of those are great. But the green, I'm a bit like, oh God.
Fantastic. And are you, since you've returned from the second lockdown that has just recently ended in England, are you finding you're guiding the colour consultations, or is the client coming in raring to go and telling you what it is that they want to see from you?
I don't think my clients have ever guided the consultation. so I'm told by them. I think, you know, it's quite interesting because I know hairdressers say this a lot of times, but every night before I leave, I get a printout of all my next day's clients, and I already know where I want to take them to. And by the time I finish your color, I already know where I want to take you to next. So for me, you know, color and cutting is something that evolves constantly. It's, you know, even though I do have my clients, it's so funny because one of my clients is sitting here with me. She's listening to my chat. And you know, if I use Leah's example, you know, we do the same color with Leah all the time. But, you know, it's evolved to get to a point where that's the color we like. And but every time, you know, we come in, we look at, you know, does the color need to be pulled through a little bit more? Do we need to do so? You need to think about the future rather than just thinking of the service you're doing now. And the only way you can do that is to be utterly critical on your own work. So, you know, when your client leave, I always think to myself, what can I do better? Next time, what do I do better? And I've got a whole system of notes. And then we go back and in the color notes, we write down, you know, this is what I think now, this is how we can improve it. And then what we do is we compare that when she comes back to say, this is how the colors faded. So we have all that information, available to us. And I think, that kind of, the main thing with color, and this is what I say to my staff, is we need to have a journey for our clients. I don't want to go to my hygienist and she just does the same standard box thing every time. I want to know she's looking out for my gum, she's looking out for the brightness of my teeth, all of those things. And the same thing with hair. You should look at the condition, the style, the color, lifestyle. How are things changing? How's fashion impacting things? How is the seasons impacting the things? And then bringing all of those things together to provide the ultimate service for your clients. Well, that's what I do anyway.
That's great advice, Gustav. And that's advice that will keep people going through into 2021 as well, because I guess the secret to success during these difficult times will be making sure you are not just getting one booking appointment in, but getting their second one and their third one and their fourth one.
Well, so we've had my clients now book annual appointments. So we've got, so every October we open up my diary and we do annual appointments. Not everybody wants it, but I would say at the moment we have got about 75% of my clients book the year's appointments ahead.
Brilliant. So so a client, so for instance, the client who I know you've got sat in your salon listening in at the moment, for instance, hello.
You want me to show you?
Yeah, let's have a look.
There she sits.
Oh, hello. Great to have you with us. So for instance, was it Lee? Leah, lovely to meet you, Leah. And so for instance, Leah, let's use Leah as an example. So she would have her appointments booked between now and October next year already. So
Leah actually doesn't, but we are booking her in when she leaves. And and we do her hair color about every 6 weeks. And we alternate her hair color. So once we do a hairline parting, and then the next time we do a full root tint. And we're actually in the process of getting Leah's hair in a better condition to growing out fuller. So we're conscious about what we use on the hair, the things that she uses at home. So she's completely organic, no silicons, no sulfates. So for the people that don't know me, I'm a completely silicon-free salon. We do not use anything with dimethicone, trimethicone, dimethiconol, or the other 4 other silicones you get. There's 7 of them. But she's booked, throughout the year, or she will be when she leaves. And to make sure, because let's be honest, if you color your hair because you've got gray roots, why do you ever want to see those gray roots? I've got my hair bleached and I'm looking at these roots already, and this is 5 weeks, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I need to have that bleached. So if you don't like seeing it, why do you ever have to see it? So some of my clients color every 10 days. Obviously, we work on a special program. The application is immaculate. There's no overlapping. All of these things we train our staff in to make sure that, there's no darkness around the hairline. All of those things, especially with the brunettes, you don't want black, dark, and then there's black on the roots, if that's not what they naturally look like. So, it's just taking the time. I would say, the biggest advice I can give to anybody is take the time now to spend with your clients to make sure that every single client leaves 100% happy. If they're not 100% happy, make the effort to get them there. Because, we're all in the same boat, and we're all trying, as businesses, to hang on to our clients because they are our livelihoods. And if they are our livelihoods, we should treat them like gold, because they're the ones that, make things work.
That's great advice, Gustav. And I guess that leads quite nicely into my next question, actually, which is more about you and looking after yourself. I mean, and for any hairdressers or hair salon owners that are tuning in, obviously this is a crazy busy period, isn't it? The lead up to Christmas in a normal year, but even more so now, you've got to squeeze clients in and operate social distancing rules, etc. So what are your tips for anybody tuning in who is watching this after a very long day in the salon for getting that kind of work-life balance right, or kind of looking after yourself in between appointments?
So I think, for me, I'm very fortunate. I've got a fantastic partner who looks after me, and who I would not have been able to do this without. I get home, my food's ready. It's truly, I'm carried on. He carries me on his hands all the time. So, for busy days, You know, there's in the morning when I wake up after the shower, my breakfast is ready, my what I take to work, and then he does little snacks for me, like little bite-sized things that I can literally. Now, for the people that run a full diary all the time, there's very seldomly time to, I say, I tell my clients, I barely got time to fart, never mind to do anything else. So, I literally have to run upstairs, I grab a mouthful, grab a glass of water, and I do that in between each client. And it's just making sure you keep the energy up. Just looking after yourself. Admittedly, in December, I don't do as much training as I would do normally, but on a regular week, I'll probably go to the gym 3 times. I do 2 sessions of yoga and 1 of Pilates, and then 1 spinning and 1 Barry's boot camp.
Brilliant. Great advice there.
I find the more I exercise, the more crazy I get.
That's great. And I think it's great advice that you do make sure you've got those snacks to keep you going throughout the day as well, because I guess you've got to look after yourself to be able to look after your clients, haven't you?
Oh, you know what, some days you get to a point, if I don't eat breakfast before I start, and this is in the salon, we always say to the staff, you have to eat before you go on the floor, because once you go on the floor, sometimes I look at my watch and I think, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock and I've not had any water, I've not had anything to eat. So at least, if you start off with a good breakfast, you've had 500 mils of water, you can push through, where, because there's always something to do. There's a client to shampoo, there's something to sweep, a phone to answer. It's a continuous flow all the time.
Definitely. Did you find it a challenge, Gustav, going from lockdown where you couldn't work all day, every day, to this kind of 100 miles an hour?
I think, my diary has been like this for quite some time. So yes and no. I think if I was not as busy beforehand and all of a sudden I'm this busy now, I can see why that could be a problem. But I think, the biggest challenge is just kind of keeping focused rather than physically fit, to make sure that we don't lose the attention to the detail. But I think, the longer days is the thing that really affects me, because I normally work 6 days a week anyway and have done for the past 5 years. But it's the fact that, normally I do 9 to 6 and now I do 7 to 7. And it definitely affects your home life. But, it's only 3 weeks. So just think to yourself, it's 3 weeks, we get over and done. January, it returns back to normal with no lockdowns. And then we take it from there.
Fantastic. This session is whizzing by, Gustav, but I do want to tap into the fact, for anyone who maybe doesn't know you, you are well known for being an expert in the bridal field. And obviously it's been a super interesting year from a weddings point of view. So how has that affected you in your business? Because obviously you'd normally have brides that would come into you to start that preparation from a colour perspective, getting their colour prepared for their wedding day from a styling perspective, and then of course obviously being there on wedding days as well to do the styling on the day.
So I've actually, to be honest with you, I've been very honest with my brides. I only, like we mentioned before, I generally only allow 10 weddings a year, and normally they creep up to about 14, 15. But what we've done with COVID, we've actually gave all our deposits back to our brides and said to them, you know what, once the date is secured, then come back to us, because we can't hold a date for a potential thing to move it on, because that's not business smart to me. And all our brides have been fantastic with it. So the bridal business, excuse me, has definitely plummeted in 2020. But for next year, I've got 6 weddings booked already, and they're all in the last bit of the year. So September, October, those dates. Sorry, this is to have a sip of water.
I'll go for it.
And I think, the key thing is to keep connection with your clients, to keep building that relationship. One of the important things for me with weddings is that, besides the fact that I provide a fantastic service and my skill for weddings, the thing that makes me different is I really build a relationship with my clients. And my clients, for me, is not just an end result of money. For me, it's about that whole experience and that feeling, what you get, that's the thing, that really drives me. Obviously you've got the business side of it, but I think, with weddings, if you build that in and you really understand that this day is probably going to be, besides their children being born, the most important day ever. And if you put the emphasis on that and you truly understand it, I think it sets you apart from anybody else. But it's definitely, next year, I think, will be a different year for weddings. And I think, we'll learn to readjust. But I think, the wedding industry will pick up very fast. I think the people who were good before is going to be good again. And the newcomers coming in who are excellent will pick up all the rest of them anyway. So it's definitely an industry that I do not think, for hair, I think will always, pick up.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that, Gustav, because I know that is obviously a big kind of specialism on your part, isn't it? Which is fantastic. For anyone who does want to tap into that side of things, do you have any advice? Because obviously I know that you do everything from making sure that the colour consultations are done in the lead up the wedding day, that you've got everything in place. So for anyone tuning in that wants to try and tap into that extra revenue stream.
So I offer courses with Wella. I think next year we've got 7 booked. I'm in Ireland twice. I'm in Edinburgh. I'm in Manchester, in London. And what we do is, it's technical training, but I also, in the morning, I run through and I give you a taster of what you can do to help your clients. The main thing is control, because a wedding is an emotional thing. So if you don't manage your expectations of your client, it's crazy. Where if you are confident and you know what works and you know what, you put the structure in, and that transforms your client experience completely. So I'm known to be bossy. So when it comes to client color and things like that, before your wedding, it's a super strict regime, and clients either buy into that or they don't. And I've learned that if you don't buy into that, then you don't want me, because what I want is for your hair to be the best it can be on your day. And all my brides want the same thing. And once you get that understanding, that it's not a money thing, but it is to look. It's like seeing a personal trainer. You can see a personal trainer but eat cake on the side. It's not really going to have the benefits. So there's no point in seeing me, but you don't do all the things that can actually help you get to where you need to be.
Great advice, Gustav. And yeah, as I say, time is running out. It's flying by. So I want to quickly delve into 2021 and your plans for your salon, your colour business in 2021.
So for our colour business, we've got quite a few campaigns. So I'm going to give you little teasers. We've basically got campaigns coming out every single month, and it will all be cutting and styling related. And we, some of the things, obviously everything is Wella, but some of them will be connected to Wella. But yeah, we're doing some very interesting things where we want to show diversity. I think, diversity in skin tone, hair texture, ages, all of these things. I think for us as a salon, because we're a very inclusive salon. We like old, young, fat, skinny, pink hair, white hair, whatever the spectrum is, we love all of you. As long as even if you don't have hair, we can give you a nice head massage or a treatment. If you have hair, it's better. But, we want to showcase each generation and skin tone as their individuality and individual people, and, and how we can make that better. That, people don't have to be scared to come into a high-end salon. We are here to help and guide you and show you what you can achieve to be the best version of yourself.
I love that, Gustav. That's fantastic. Oh, brilliant. Well, I think we're going to be wrapping up there. So I just want to say thank you so much to Gustav for joining us after his super long day in the salon. Before you start it all again tomorrow. And we've tapped into quite a few things this evening, but if you did want any more information about anything that Gustav touched on from Wella Professionals, please do head to the Wella Professionals website, which you'll find in the comments stream. And we look forward to seeing what you've got in store for us in 2021, Gustav.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully a little bit watching. Definitely, and hopefully a little bit of sleep over Christmas before it all starts again in January.
I'm going to South Africa. I'm going to be sleeping like a log.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic.
Thank you very much for having me. And if you guys have got any questions, email us, WhatsApp or Instagram us,
What's your Instagram for anybody tuning in, Gustav, who might want to have a look at your grid? Because we didn't talk about your social media, but Gustav has great Instagram account as well.
So the salon Instagram is Gustav_Fouche. And then all of our stylists is GF Stylists and then underscore the name. So mine would be GF Stylist _ Gustav. And then we have Gavin, Rowena, Anna Maria, all of them.
Definitely check it out, because you can also get lots of inspiration from how to keep your clients engaged between appointments from having a look at Gustav's social media accounts as well.
Yes, please.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much, Gustav. And then we'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll speak to you very soon, I'm sure.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.